Okay, Ronan, we're live. Welcome to the first of many live morning shows.
Yep.
I brought my very special Mickey Mouse coffee mug to celebrate and inaugurate this auspicious occasion. So,
Well, I've got my generic Office Depot on sale mug.
well, hey, whatever works. But I also have my glass of water here in case my throat gets dry. But it's still coffee time. So,
Yeah.
So congratulations to us for starting something.
Yes.
So
For all we know, there's actually bourbon in here, right?
well, yeah, possibly. We'll see. A little early in the day for that, but maybe a bit later. So, all right. Well, I show that we're live, and I want to get into our topic at hand. So I think we ought to do that right away. So for those of you that are joining us, welcome. This is the Ronan and I were talking a few days ago about getting together and sharing with you some useful information every day that can help you primarily get qualified appointments for whatever business you're in. And there are a lot of different methodologies. There's a lot of different processes, a lot of different techniques. Ronan and I live this. We do this every single day with ourselves and with our clients. We just want to share the stuff with you because we know that it can be a struggle and it can be frustrating about like, why aren't people responding to me? Or I need more appointments, or I need better qualified appointments, or whatever it is. So if you are in a position as a business owner, as a sales professional, whatever it is, and you want to learn how to get more appointments and more qualified appointments, this is a place for you to be. We're just gonna share what we know. We're not selling anything. We're just here to give you information. So thanks for being here. And today's topic, before I get into that, my name is Brian Williams. I am the founder of a company called Real Appointments, fancythat.com. And Ronan is my partner and the chief operating officer for the business. And because we live this day in and day out, we just, like I said, we want to share some good stuff with you. So today's topic is what we call the message to market match. And if any of you have ever been to any of our live events when we were actually in person, we almost always incorporate part of the conversation surrounding this topic, which is message to market match. And the reason for that is it is arguably the most misunderstood and missed part of not only marketing, but your entire messaging. We normally are fixing this piece first before we get into any appointment setting or messaging or any fancy stuff. This is not fancy. This is just like basic stuff. But most business professionals, most businesses miss this. And so if you're not going to do anything else but this will absolutely help you not only generate more sales appointments, it'll also help you in anything you do marketing wise. So what is a message to market match? Yes, Ronan.
I just want to add that, we are live. So if you have any questions as we go through this, we will have a little Q&A at the end. So just type your comments down at the bottom. We'll get to those. Anything you don't understand, anything you want to know about, we're happy to answer. Just have those handy for us, and we'll get that taken care of towards the end.
Thank you for reminding us. And also, I like the cue, little 2 fingers up. That because we don't want to talk over each other. So we're trying to figure out how do we cue each other when we have something to say so we don't talk over each other. So I like that. All right. So what in the heck is a message to market match anyway? It's very simple concept. And you feel free to take notes on this. So let's start with the market. Okay. Your market is the who. It's who you want to have that appointment with, who you want to be sitting down at the table with, who you want to be on a Zoom meeting with, who you want to essentially work with, right? Whether as a referral partner to sell your services or products, whatever that happens to be, your market is your who. And you've probably seen or heard this before. Pretty much every marketing guru or whatever on the planet talks about niching down, right? Speaking to the one, speaking to the who. That's your market. Now, this is probably the hardest concept for all of us, ourselves included, to narrow down in, because when we narrow down on the market, especially in our messaging, we automatically go into panic mode. Like, well, what about everybody else, right? What happens to all the other people who are not defined in my who that I'm out there presenting to? And I get it. Believe me, I get it. I have the same issue and I preach it. I actually do this, and I still get heart palpitations when I start writing copy and I start sending messages out that speak to just one type of business professional, because let's face it, we do appointment setting for lots of different types of businesses, right? So how is it that we're able to narrow down on the who? Well, here's how we do it. I'll give you a real world example. So Ronan and I, as I introduced in the beginning, are business partners, and we both are in the business of helping other businesses set up qualified sales appointments. Ronan's message right now is targeting and catering to IT service providers, okay? Because that's a market that we do very well with. My messaging, on the other hand, is tailored towards CPA firms, which is another market that we do very well with. And so we're able to kind of balance at least those two different markets in the moment. Now, here's another thing I'll let you in on. You can change your market, right? You could always change your market when you're doing your messaging, when you're doing your marketing, when you're doing your advertising, right? Your service or your product probably, just like ours, caters to more than just one type of who, more than just one market. Okay, let's take something we all know, automobiles, right? We'll take an automobile dealer. An automobile dealer caters to a lot of different markets, right? They cater to the new driver. They cater to the used car buyer. They cater to the fleet buyer who's buying dozens or hundreds of vehicles for their business, right? They cater to all kinds of different markets with the same product, a car or a truck. And so it doesn't mean that you can't work with multiple markets. Your product or your service likely serves multiple markets, just like in the case of an auto dealer, just like in the case of our business. So don't be too hung up on the who. I just want you to understand, when you're messaging people, when you're marketing to people, when you're advertising to people, when you're speaking to people, pick a who that you work well with and stick with that for the time being. Ronan, anything else to add?
No, I just would second that. I mean, when you first said that to me, there was a cold chill that went down my spine, because, I just imagined all the people I was missing. Like, oh my God, what about all these other people? And then as we talked it through, it's like, oh, okay. And this isn't forever, right? Like, this is for a period of time, and then I can always switch. So that was comforting too. But yeah, I had that same visceral reaction.
Yeah, it's like know your audience, right? I happen to do quite a lot of public speaking, and it's know my audience going into that. If I'm speaking to a group of attorneys, I'm going to cater my content, my language, my messaging to them. I'm not going to talk about examples that have to do with automotive dealers, right? Because that won't resonate with them. Same kind of thing. All right. The next part of the formula, other than market, is your message, right? What's the message that is going to grab your market, grab the attention of the who? Now, this is a little bit more artistic. This is a little bit more heady, okay? Because every market, every who has their own hot buttons, right? Their own things that are going to get them to pay attention, get them to take action, get them to pay attention to you. And I'm going to give you a formula, and I'll show you one or two examples of how the message works, okay? I'm going to pull up and share the screen here. And this is a page out of a workbook that we give our attendees when they come to our guaranteed sales appointments events, okay? And this is an exercise that we take the attendees through to come up with their message to market match headline, if you will. And here's the formula. It's written right out here in front of you. Feel free to take a picture of this. Feel free to write this down. Feel free to use this. Share your own examples. I'd love to see everybody using this out in the marketplace because it'll help you. It'll really, really help you. And that is this. Pick an industry, right? Like finance, let's say. Pick a market segment like CPA firms. Pick an ideal prospect within that segment, like a partner in a 4-person CPA firm. Okay. And then pick a reason or a pain point that they should listen to you. Pick a reason or pain point they should listen to you. And one way you can do this is if you look at the question at the bottom of this workbook page, it says, what are the biggest problems that your client, that's the who or the market, are facing? Something just covered my screen here. Hold on. I think Ronan, you're getting clever with the right, over. Okay, there we go. So if you look at the question, what are the biggest problems your client, that's the who, are facing that you can solve? What keeps them up at night? What are they worrying about? Now today, they may be worrying about things they weren't worrying about a month and a half ago due to the whole, coronavirus thing. So that may be something you want to address, maybe not. But if you can really understand and get into the head of what they're concerned about, what problems are they facing that you can help address, that's where your message is really going to shine, is really going to pop, it's really going to resonate and really draw in the people that you can serve and the people that you want to actually have a conversation with. So this is the formula that we use and our clients use to dive into this message to market match, so that when you are out there messaging people with your headlines on your social media pages, with your marketing copy, with your email subject lines, with anything that you're doing, this is going to draw in those right, perfect fit and right-sized clients, not just for your sake, but for their sake, right? Because time is really, really valuable, and you want to use it valuable not just for yourself, but for the people that you're going to be meeting with. So let me show you an example of how this might look in a real world environment. So I'm going to pull up, with your permission, Ronan, I'm just going to pull up your, if I can figure out how to use the controls here, your profile page on LinkedIn. I think this will tie everything together. If I can find where I put that. There it is. Okay. Okay. So here you should be seeing now Ronan's LinkedIn profile page. Now, when I first started this, or close to the beginning, I had mentioned that Ronan and I are business partners. We serve all kinds of different clients. And right now, Ronan's marketing message, his focus is geared towards IT, people that want to reach IT decision makers, IT service providers, IT professionals. So his headline on his LinkedIn profile page, you can read it right here, follows the formula I just shared with you. If you missed it, go back and look at it. So here it is. Guaranteed appointments. Start right off with what it is that you do, right? Because that's either going to get my attention or I'm going to move on to something else, right? There's no need to speak to someone that doesn't care. So what does he do? Guarantees appointments. With who, right? That's the market. Who does he guarantee appointments for? IT decision makers. And he gets even more specific by defining, well, what type, right? IT decision makers at $25+ million US based companies, right? Now he's really looking to grab attention with the person he wants to speak with, right? And then he then ties in a pain point, ties in something they might be worrying about. And that's what I was talking about in that question that I showed on the previous page on the workbook, which is what they might be concerned with. And that's so you can focus on IT solutions, right? So it's something that they don't want. His ideal customer doesn't want to worry about setting up appointments. They don't want to worry about this kind of stuff. They want to focus on not being distracted and working on their own business. So that's an example of how this message to market match formula works. It's a very limited example, but it's very specific, and I thought that might be helpful. Ronan, anything that you would like to add before we do our conclusion for today's short training?
Yeah, I would say that what's really interesting and what I've noticed in the whole process is that guaranteed appointments, I mean, just starting out that way gets people to connect with me. Yeah. And they'll message me right away, because we don't necessarily do that. We connect with people, but when they see the headline, they'll reach out to me rather than me having to reach out to them. I mean, it's a bold statement for one. and it's very clear what we're doing. So, and who doesn't want a guaranteed appointment that's in business?
Well, and more than that, it's not a matter of who doesn't want it. There's no point in you speaking with anyone who doesn't want it. So when it's good to be bold and good to be specific is also what you're being in that headline. And you want to attract what you want to attract. So say it. Like, you don't need to use fancy language. You don't need to come up. You don't need some weird, words that people don't understand. Just speak in a language that they understand, but also language that is going to bring to you who you can actually serve and repel everyone else. That's not a concept we're going to get into right now, but you want to repel everyone except for the people that you don't want to repel, is essentially this. And it's a much smaller group of people that you want to speak with than the group that you don't want to speak with, especially in business, right? I mean, so you want to attract that small group of people, that small group of business professionals that make the most sense. And this formula, I'll put it back up again for those that just arrived. This formula will help you do that. While I pull this up, we are hosting a deep dive live virtual event. I'm gonna have to get used to those words. Live virtual event. It's totally free and it's awesome. We've done this in person numerous times, and I wanted to make sure that you saw this before I pull the screen up again. It's you're going to have a great time, and it comes. We're going to be giving our complete workbook. I showed a screenshot, which I'll show. I'm trying to pull up right now, of a little page out of our workbook that we were teaching just a moment ago. Here it is. This is just what I wanted to make sure if you heard. This is the formula for your message to market match. So we're going to, when you sign up for this event, it's this Friday at 9:30 a.m. You'll download our complete workbook, print it out, because we're going to be going through that in a more elaborate, more deep dive fashion. So this training here was about 15 minutes. We'll spend 45 minutes to an hour this Friday, really diving in and not only going over this in more depth, your message market match, but really sharing with you and showing you step by step everything that you can be doing right now from the comfort of your own home office to get your next qualified sales appointment. In fact, one of the things that we decided to do is we're going to actually have you walk through our 7-step action plan, our 7-day action plan, so that you get your next appointment for sure within a week of coming to the training. So if you're interested in this, please join us. You can see all the details at realappointmentsvip.com, and we should have a lot of fun, and we do hope to help you out even further. So Ronan, anything else to add before we close this out?
No, just saying hi to Adrian.
Adrian.
And also, I just wanted
Adrian, by the way, is getting some special things in the mail.
Yeah.
She was on my call yesterday, and is the winner for sure. So,
and it's brownies, so it's better than a chicken dinner.
She's getting more than brownies. Yeah, she's getting a lot of cool stuff. So,
yeah. No, the only thing I would add about Friday is going to be just a ton of value. There's just going to be some really good, actionable material that you're going to get. So just come check it out.
Come check it out. I love it. All right. You should feel special, Adrian. You are special. All righty. So with that, thank you for your time today. And that was fun. We'll have to do it again, Ronan.
Yeah, like tomorrow.
That sounds like a great idea. Okay.